Alright, so for this week's reading and also the videos, learning about intersectionality was definitely new for me. I've obviously have been educated on things like discrimination on race, sexuality, gender, and etc., but actually learning what intersectionality is my first time. So I guess I'll start with that part. I really enjoyed the videos more on intersectionality. I think it had to do with because I read first, and it was a little bit, like I said, since it was my first time, a little bit hard to understand exactly all of it, and then, the videos pretty much, put it together for me. So, I feel like as a straight white woman, I haven't dealt with a lot of oppression and discrimination that a lot of people have who are a different race or have a different sexuality than I do. So something that was mentioned in one of the videos was about understanding if you are privileged and taking that privilege and understanding that not everybody is privileged the way that you are and wanting to make that difference. And pretty much understand them not being privileged. And so that kind of sat on my heart, just because everything that's going on in the world today, I really hate it, and it makes me feel really sad, because I feel like I can't understand as much as I would like to, because I am privileged. But I think being able to say that I am privileged is honestly a bigger step than most people are making these days. So that's pretty much collective on that. And then also when it comes to teaching, I already talked about it in my discussion, but you have to understand intersectionality. You have to understand the oppression that different people of different races and sexualities and gender go through, so that you can be that difference for them, because as an educator, you are that staple for them to go into the real world, I think, no matter if you're K through 12. So I would never want any of my students to feel that they are being discriminated against because of me. So there's that. And then also I really liked the Because Teaching Matters, the pages 1 through 15. I think it's a really good setup, especially being in only week 2, and I like how it ends with is teaching really for you? After you read all of this, is this still something that you want to do? And I think so far this class is just really validating what I want to do, and it helps a lot, just because like we talked in our last discussion, there's so much that people say about teachers, and it's almost 95% of the time it is negative, and they say that teaching is easy, or I just get really frustrated, just because I think it has a lot to do with my passion in the field, and to hear anyone say that teaching is easy just really irritates me. I haven't been completely on as an educator, but I have done tutoring many a times. I actually tutored a student in high school who struggles with ADD, which is attention deficit disorder, and that was really challenging. And then I also did tutor exchange students that were from China, and it was algebra, and that was challenging as well, because you have to overcome the differences that you guys have. And there was a language barrier with the exchange students, and then with the student who had ADD, I did relate to her because I do have it, so maybe it was an advantage a little bit for me, but it's also I understand that it's hard to focus, and we don't all learn the same way. So I think while I do these readings and watch these videos for this class, and I know it's only week 2, but it's just really validating my major and what I want to do in life, and it's also really validating that not everybody is taught the same, which is kind of really something that I've always stretched like when people ask me about like, oh, why do you want to be a teacher? It honestly has a lot to do with myself and my struggles that I've had in school. So I do have ADD, and I do suffer from anxiety and depression, and that made high school especially extremely challenging. And I felt like after high school, you know, once you're out of a situation, you know how you can like look back. Well, that's what I did, and I really reflected on a lot of things, and I was just like, I just feel like at my school in particular, there just wasn't a lot of focus on understanding mental illnesses. And I also think because I come from a very country school, very small country school, definitely dominantly white, like I wasn't exposed enough. And I think like ever since like leaving that town, like the more exposure I get and the more that I learn, the more I just really want to work in this field and be that difference that I know a lot of students don't have and get to experience. I mean, out of all of my teaching years, all of my student years, my bad, I think I could really only say 2 teachers that made a difference for me. And if you ask like other people that I graduated with, they would probably say the same teachers as well. And that's my goal. I want to be those teachers that make a difference. And I think the first step is understanding. And based on this reading the videos, I think it's understanding that not everybody's going to be taught the same. You have to be able to adapt to that, and also understanding intersectionality. And most of us, depending on like where, you know, I'll be teaching or the way that your identity are more privileged or we're less privileged. And you're going to have students who might be more privileged or less privileged to you. And for those less privileged students, it's very important that you understand. Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up now. I really could go on for a super duper long time, but I won't do that to you. So I'm going to wrap it up and just say that thank you so far, just in week 2, the readings and the videos and also discussion that I was in last week. Sorry about missing this week. I haven't been feeling well. I'm starting to feel better today. But it just keeps validating what I want to do. And it feels good because I don't get a lot of that on the outside world. So, thank you.